YouTubers Alissa Violet and FaZe Banks were outraged after getting attacked at a bar in Ohio. Now that bar is fighting back with their own security footage. Welcome back to What's Trending. I'm Ava Gordy. Be sure to like this video and subscribe for more drama. This one is a doozy, you guys, so let's try and get through it with as much clarity as possible. YouTuber FaZe Banks, aka Ricky Banks, is dating another YouTuber, Alissa Violet, formerly of Team 10. You know, Jake Paul's Team 10. That's another story. Back to this one. So they went out on Saturday night in Alissa's hometown, Cleveland, to a place called Barley's, where they claim Alissa was hit by two bouncers. It gave her a bump on her head and a cut on her lip. And because Ricky punched the guy in his face, he broke his finger. He posted to his Snapchat a screen grab of the bouncer and her injuries and said, quote, "This is what he did to Alissa. You piece of shit. You better hope I never run into you. I will kill you." When he released the image of the man who hurt his girlfriend, his fans went to find him. They identified the man as Steve Donaldson Jr. and started giving out his address and phone numbers. But it turns out that wasn't the guy. Steve Donaldson Jr., the actual guy, ended up having to give a statement and say, "Please stop attacking me. Don't give out my address anymore. I'm not your dude."
Dude, don't get. You wanna run? Want to get your ass me too?
I'm getting you off. I'm getting you off. Stop. Go.
According to them, they were kicked out of the bar, where two women then got into a scuffle with Alissa, which was caught on her Snapchat story. Then she tweeted screenshots of those women and said, #Cleveland. Who are these women? Help. Luckily, no one claimed they knew those women and just ruined their lives. When they eventually got home from the hospital, Ricky did a quick recap of what happened from his perspective.
I tipped their staff. I know a few of those guys will go to bat for me. I tipped their staff all through the night. We weren't aggressive at all. We were out with Alissa's family. I'm here for Thanksgiving. There wasn't an aggressive bone in my body all night.
After all this, their fans took to Barley House's Yelp page, leaving negative reviews, while another fan started a petition to get the bar shut down. We really live in a culture where people can say anything and then go, "Yep, we're your fans and we believe you 100% no matter what." When, like, you shouldn't do that, really. That's just hive mentality. It's so dangerous. So then Barley House had to release a statement basically saying they didn't do anything wrong and their staff acted professionally. I can't possibly read the whole thing, but I will get to the biggest plot twist later in the video. After that was released, Ricky released his statement with a full timeline of the events. They went to the bar that night with two of Alissa's friends. One of her friends happened to know a lot of the employees there. The girls went to use the restroom downstairs, which is apparently off limits, but because the girl knows a lot of people there, she got them in, but Ricky was stopped by a security guard and was like, "You can't go down there." And her friend was like, "Yes, he can, it's fine, whatever." So they got in a bit of a scuff and then he's like, "Fine, whatever." So that happens, everything's fine. Then apparently they left, but the girls were like, "Wait, we want to go back in, we have to go to the bathroom again." So they went back in, and this time Ricky was waiting outside the bathroom and everything felt fine, but then he was approached by a security guard who was like, "Please leave the area." According to Ricky, he grabbed him and tried to physically remove him, and then Ricky had to fight back and pushed him. He says he was then thrown in a headlock by four dudes and carried out by his neck by four guys, is what he said. And during this, one of the bouncers supposedly pushed Alissa down some stairs and she scraped her knee. He says once they got outside, Ricky realized that he lost an expensive bracelet and was trying to get back in and talk to the bouncers to try and, like, fix this situation, and they weren't being helpful. While trying to talk to the employees, apparently two patrons got involved and started to mock them. Alissa then started filming everything with her phone. Ricky says that it seemed like those two patrons were either former employees or maybe just friends of the bar, because the employees weren't doing anything about the patrons and were mocking them. And so Ricky was like, wow, they're not doing anything about them. They must be like friends. Yeah, I don't know. But it's, Ricky says that the bouncers were, quote, egging on the three people who hit Alissa. So not doing anything about them, and said egging on. Okay, that is Ricky's full side of the story. Yikes. If you're confused, I totally get it, but here's the kicker. Barley House got their YouTube game up and released a 15-minute video of the security footage. Yes. Here's some of the best parts. Firstly, they show an employee carrying the cash register to the office and back. They have to walk past the bathroom in question to do this. A voiceover then tells us that the bathrooms there close at 2 a.m. It's past 2 a.m. in the timestamp.
2:28, you could see Mr. Banks standing outside the bathroom, about 15 feet away from our office where our female manager is in there alone counting money. This is the reason we didn't want Mr. Banks down there.
Okay, so they've got reason to not want him there. That's chill, but what happens with the security guard?
Richie's explaining, as you can see, we don't allow people down here this late. Security guard asked Mr. Banks to leave. Now he's like mocking him, dancing in front of him, taunting him. The reason Ricky is still standing there is because he's continuing to argue about staying in a restricted area.
So then it is a little hard to tell what's going on because they're very far away from the camera, but according to Ricky, he says that he tries to escort him out or grabs him and escorts him out, and then he pushes him back. So Ricky admits that he did push him back. Immediately it flashes to the upstairs part of the bar, but the time code is still at 2:31, so we can assume nothing was cut out, as Ricky claimed later. So the headlock thing is a little hazy, but it does look like this physical altercation is happening on both sides. It does look like he's guided up the stairs with someone's arm wrapped around his neck. I see both sides. I don't think that like he wasn't in a headlock. You can real clear see them, you know, he's walking up the stairs on his own. He's just in a headlock. You know what I mean? And it's kind of a casual headlock. It doesn't look like he's like full on being like choked. You know what I mean? It seems like they didn't know how to control the situation and maybe a headlock was a poor choice, but they were just trying to get him out of there. So then it shows Ricky fully walking out on his own. He's being guided by bouncers, but not dragged out by any means. And Alissa and her pals walk out a few moments later. Then my fave part happens. Grab your popcorn.
You can see Alyssa's mother patting the security guards on the shoulder, apologizing for what happened.
Yep, this whole thing happened with her mom waiting for them outside. So then they capture the footage of both Ricky and Alissa recording the videos they posted on Snapchat. These ones.
Good night, my friends. Barley House just literally hide so much.
Barley House in Ohio, Cleveland. This place.
So there you can see that neither of them have gotten to the worst yet. Alyssa's face is totally fine and Ricky's hand is not broken yet. But then, the patrons at the bar finally come into the story. They're seen taunting them, you know, flipping them off, and who knows what they're saying really, but Alissa feels strong enough to start recording.
Face, the girl smacks off her hand and swings at her, and then the one gentleman is just breaking it up. You just saw Mr. Banks throw a glass. That could have seriously hurt somebody.
So yeah, I don't know about that being glass. Like Ricky said it was a water bottle and I high-key believe him here. The bar owner is like, that was a glass, that could be dangerous. It didn't look like a glass to me, but either way, Ricky, why are you throwing things? That seems unnecessary. So then the guy in the video says the bar has officially closed by 2:30 a.m. and does a nice little time lapse of about 15 minutes. 15 minutes later, they're still there. Why? If you just had a horrible altercation at a bar, it's time to go. Oh wait, his expensive bracelet. Maybe that's why they're still there. So by this point, this isn't even involving Barley House employees anymore. They are outside on the sidewalk, on the street. None of Barley's employees are outside anymore. Alissa starts filming again.
You're gonna see Alissa run right up to her and pretty much instigate it while the female looked to turn away from her and try to ignore her at first. Here's Alissa all up in this girl's face, trying to ignore her. They're trying to leave and get home, and this Alissa girl won't get out of her face.
And Alissa circles her while filming when the second patron approaches.
Alissa is now struck by the female patron. Here's Banks' sucker punch, back to the head. And that guy did nothing but try to break up the fight with the two girls.
So there's the moment she gets hit in the face by the female. Still, no Barley employees outside. And no offense, but I have to agree. This poor dude is just trying to break up your two girls fighting, and then you start sucker punching him in the back of the head and then really beating on his face. Like, this poor dude had a water bottle thrown at him now and is getting punched, like, just for trying to break up a girl fight? You know, I don't understand the narrative of like, he put his hands on my girl. He's literally doing this to like, hey girls, stop. I don't know if that's enough for you to be like, boom, boom. Then my second favorite part of the video comes up.
There wasn't an aggressive bone in my body all night. There wasn't an aggressive bone in my body all night.
Barley House uses their sick video editing skills to be completely savage. Then Barley House security eventually does get involved because they see a ruckus outside, so they break it up. During the security footage, there's absolutely no moment when a security guard throws a punch, throws a push, like nothing. They're really just trying to take people off each other. So honestly speaking, if I were Alissa or Ricky right now, I would be hella embarrassed. But they're not. Ricky tweeted, quote, "Barley released a video adding a false narrative, flat out lying, and still leaving out a chunk of security footage of what happened downstairs." There is no chunk missing, by the way. It goes from maybe 10 seconds, cuts to upstairs, 10 seconds. Okay, back to the tweet. "I'm making a follow-up video to theirs, will be out soon." And that video has not been released as of recording this video. So there you have it, guys. Whose side do you believe? Really, whose side do I believe? Also, just another side note, Ricky claims that he spent $1,000 at this bar, but then also claims that he wasn't drunk, which I don't understand. And then the bar released their receipt, and it was only $600, so that's also kind of embarrassing, but it's just a side note. I personally think that Ricky and Alissa should just take Alyssa's advice from a tweet that she tweeted just like earlier this month. Quote, "The best revenge is no revenge. Move on, be happy, find inner peace, flourish." That's an idea, guys. Let me know all your thoughts on this hashtag YouTube drama in the comments below. Like this video and subscribe for more What's Trending.